Before we do that, we have a little segment that we're pioneering this year called our Shared Value Storytellers. We have 3 of these over the next few days, and what we did was we turned the invitations to present at this event to the community and said, you know, we want to hear the best new emerging examples and ideas you have around shared value. And we sort of said to ourselves, well, not clear how many applications we're going to get, what they're going to look like, but as Michael said this morning, we always know there are more examples and stories out there. We tried to pick 3 of what we thought were the most unique, the most compelling, and from my standpoint, when I sometimes skeptically hear people say, oh, it always seems like the same examples that people talk about, I really challenged us as a team to find some innovative new thinking that was out there. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce you to the General Manager of Cartaway Concrete Systems, Bruce Christensen. And as Bruce comes up and joins me here on the stage, I just want to point out that we first talked about the role of concrete in emerging markets probably 2 years ago when he got in touch with me. And I'm really looking forward to him sharing his story and his shovel with you. Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Justin, and Shared Value Initiative for allowing us to tell our story today. Again, my name is Bruce Christensen, and I represent a small manufacturing company. We make concrete mixing equipment in Portland, Oregon, and we help ready-mix operations join the supply chain of the U.S. concrete industry. But one thing I'm very proud of is my photography. This is a sidewalk of New York City, the concrete jungle. Now that I have your attention riveted to the screen, I'm going to tell you some information directly from a concrete geek. If I can, there we go. Concrete is the second most consumed product on Earth after water. In fact, production yields 3 tons per individual per year. That's the same amount as a large SUV that you consume, whether you know it or not, every year. Building material of choice is worldwide. It's in fact more powerful than wood, aluminum, and steel combined as far as a building material is concerned. And it's a huge economic engine that impacts the lives of skilled workers and increases wealth all around the world. And actually, concrete is a great example of shared value. There are basically 5 things that make concrete work: sustainable, scalable, and strong. First is good rock, and you need good sand, the right amount of Portland cement, which is basically ground up limestone, and some clean water. If you blend those together, they form a magic stew that once the cement powder and water coats all the rocks and sand and you let it set up, you can mold it and strengthen the world's largest buildings, the biggest dams in the world, and even the smallest projects like sidewalks of New York. But it's important that all these components share their value together in order to make a successful, scalable product. Now, we all can recognize bad concrete when we see it. In fact, if you were to walk on this sidewalk coming to this meeting today, you probably would have paid a lot more attention to the concrete that you were walking on than you did. In fact, I can guarantee you probably didn't pay any attention at all to the concrete that you walked on today. But we recognize bad concrete when it hurts people. And in fact, in 2010, an earthquake demonstrated poor concrete to the world. In Haiti, hundreds of thousands of people died when concrete fell down upon them. It created millions of tons of rubble, bad concrete. In fact, it's an epidemic of weak concrete all around the world. And it's partly because of this tool of mass destruction. Now, we don't blame shovels necessarily, nor do we blame the poor for the actions of these shovels. In fact, they use their strong backs and their hands and their poverty to create their conditions. And this can stop. We can change this because concrete is mixed on the ground with these shovels all around the world by the poor. They use this shovel mixing method to create their homes, their businesses, their clinics, their schools, each shovel doing its deed. And then once the earthquake happens, we donate money to help solve the problem. We go in and rebuild. But we go in and find out that there's no technology, there's no supply chain to help concrete become better. So we, through expediency, go in and grab shovels with the locals, and we go and we mix, and we make more buildings with the same process. We can either choose to stay with shovels, or we can do something different, and Cartaway Concrete is a small manufacturer in Oregon. We decided that we were going to try and do something to change this process. So we attempted to create a simple piece of industrial technology that was appropriately scaled and could replicate several shovels mixing in a ditch. So we did. And we tested it, and we deployed it with the hope that this would become someday a replacement for the good concrete supply chains that we in the industrialized world have such a benefit from. So we deployed some of these mixers into Haiti, and we found out that this could join the bucket brigade process that is used to produce all the concrete structures that are being used around the world. There we go. These mixing with shovels continues, but we found that there are people who wanted to share with us this technology, and we started sharing it in Nigeria for block makers. In Haiti, we had church groups from the U.S. who sponsored mixers to go to congregations in Haiti and teach them how to become their local ready-mix provider. And now these little machines are making ready-mix for projects all around their community and earning an income for this congregation. We're also working with universities to test this technology for other deployments. What we also found, though, was that as a small company from Oregon with very limited resources, we couldn't do this alone. So we started a nonprofit, which we don't know how to do, frankly. But we started one because we felt like we needed to get people together thinking about and talking about the broken concrete supply chain. And so in July of last year, we sponsored a symposium and invited concrete experts, university thought leaders, and CEOs of major manufacturing corporations and others to come and talk about how we can make concrete be better. And what we talked about was the opportunity to build clusters of small supply chains in the areas that are the most needed, including aggregate processing, material delivery, and all the other things that we take for granted here in the U.S. By deploying or designing and developing appropriately scaled technology, we can establish these small concrete supply chains that will allow people to have good jobs and, better yet, to have buildings that stand up in earthquakes. Our feeling is we can invest our money by donating to send in more shovels. It's one way we can go, which is okay for the short term. But we lose a lot of the world's resources because we keep doing this over and over and over again. Or we can attempt to invest in small, appropriately scaled supply chains started in these communities and helping them build better structures and have better lives. So we're saying, we're a little company in Oregon. We want to help change something big and bad like concrete. And so we may be able to mix something up together. Who knows? All right. Thank you.